Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here is part 9 on the Murdered LH Torana project that we've been doing a full repaint and repair, removing all of the rust and giving it a full respray in clear over base matte black. The previous videos have gone right through how to mix and match your matte clear to achieve the correct gloss level. We then went through how to paint over chrome because there was a few door mirrors that he needed to be painted the same color as the rest of the car because that's the idea of a murdered car. Basically everything is black. We then went on to do some rust repairs on the body, and then after that we did some more repairs in a time-lapse video. After that we went through and painted the insides of the panels in the clear over base matte black, and in the video just before this one we painted the insides of the door jambs, and we did also start doing some of the prep work. So those who did watch that video will remember that I had already blocked the entire car down. I'd also gone over it with some 320 grit on the orbital sander, which left me to, all I had to do now is just do a final sand over it. So go over the entire thing with 500 grit and then go over all my edges with 500 grit on a softback sanding sponge. The reason that I did decide to put those doors back on was so that I get the exact same finish down the entire side without having one panel slightly different to the other, because I put it on a little bit heavier, a little bit lighter. A lot of the time I do like to paint the panels off the car, mainly because you don't get any masking edge, and with a normal clear over base job I'm pretty confident that I can get no color difference at all. But this was my first time ever doing a matte black full respray, so that's why I did decide to bolt those panels on. I also did decide to get those doors prepped up before I put them back on. I just found it easier when they're up on the stand. Then all I did, bolt them back on, and then just a quick check over, make sure there was no dirty, greasy fingerprints or anything that we'd gone and put in it from handling it. If there was, I would just give it a sand back rather than just trying to trust the wax and grease remover to remove it all. I like to sand right back into that primer and make sure you've exposed some fresh primer before you wipe over it with your wax and grease remover. And as you saw me just before giving the car a really good clean out, I pulled all the parts out of it. You then saw me with the vacuum cleaner vacuuming any of the larger bits up and then going over the entire thing with a airline and blowing the rest of the finer bits of dust out of the car. It's very important to get these jobs extremely clean, especially when you're doing a matte finish, because you only get one shot. There's no cut and polishing when you're doing black. If you try and get a polish rag or a buff onto your matte finish, you'll find you've no longer got a matte finish and you've got a gloss finish. So there's one shot and one shot only. You get a run in this, well, bad luck, you're going to be painting it again. You get loads and loads of dust in it, well, you're going to be painting it again. That's if you want any half decent finish anyway. As it turned out, I managed to get this car looking awesome the first time, which is always good. But anyway, most of this video will be concentrating on the masking stage. We will go through a little bit of the pre-paint prep at the end of the video. So we'll go through some prep soling and we'll also go through some tack ragging, and then I'll get a little bit of primer on a couple of those cut throughs. That'll be it for this video. The next video will be going through the base coat stage. So that's just one big base coat video. The video after that will be clear coat, and that'll probably just about see us through this video set. Glad I did decide to continue on with these videos and finish this LH Torana project off. I started making these videos sort of mid 2015 and then ended up getting really busy, left the videos aside for a while. Then when I was doing a bit of work on my website, I was categorizing all the videos I had and putting them together, and I was doing some of the projects section. I came across these old LH Torana videos and I thought, you know what, this car deserves to be finished off. So I just dug the footage back out, and I've been forcing myself to make one video per day on this. You guys do get them a little bit delayed, but that's just because I upload on a schedule. I do apologize about that grinding in the background. I'm sitting here in Thailand in my apartment, and there's people building a new apartment complex just across the road. It does get a little bit annoying, but hey, at least they're work videos, so I guess a bit of an angle grinder in the background isn't really too much of a big deal for you guys. Well, it's something that I'm used to listening to all day in a workshop anyway, so I'm not too bothered by it. So you may have noticed that when I was doing the masking on that rear door, I did my false edge masking where I got the piece of 3/4 inch tape, flipped it up over my knee to flip that edge up so it's not a hard edge anymore. I then put that right up on the edge that we're masking off, and then put a couple of rows of 36mm tape behind that, and then I even put some of the foam tape in between there as well. because again, as I said before about not being able to polish, I can't clean the overspray off, so I was getting a little bit more fastidious with my masking in this than what I probably usually would, because you don't get, like, if you get a thinner's rag, well then you're probably going to damage your paint underneath, and you can't just, you know, polish it off or anything like that. Also, obviously taking note that I'm masking the rear door first. You can't just go and mask your front door first, because it simply won't work. Now you may notice that the fenders or the guards still aren't on yet. I decided to mask my doors out, and then all we're going to do is just be sitting those guards on. So I threw a bit of plastic over the engine bay, and then just sat those guards on, put a couple of bolts in there just to allow me to get around it, and I just simply just sat on there just for the sake of painting it. We then pulled them back off, and then we fit the entire car up correctly after. And as much as anything, that was just a time thing. I always set myself goals. It's not like I even have a boss. I am the boss here, but I've always liked to set myself goals and stick to them. Every minute counts, and I don't like to waste any time at all. Another thing is that taking your time on certain things will actually save you time later on. So I was saying that I'm being very fastidious with the masking. I'm taking that little bit of extra time on the masking to make sure that I don't have to do little spot ends later on, or do little spot repairs on the door jams where I do get a little bit of overspray. So moving on with the job, as you can see, I've gone around and got most of my edge masking done. I put that plastic underneath those guards, sat those guards back on. They're just sitting there with a couple of bolts just to sit there, as I mentioned earlier. Going around, edge mask them, and next up I'll be throwing my piece of plastic over the entire car and getting a nice new razor blade, cutting it out and then taping it down. This video clip here is about 5 minutes unedited, and I'll be letting you guys just sit back and watch. I'm going to put some tunes on. If you guys don't like the idea of that, skip up to the 11-minute mark and I'll continue taking you through the rest of the job. There you go, hope you guys enjoyed that tune there. It's called Voodoo Like You. I found that in the YouTube Create section. They've got a pretty big list of royalty-free music, and that's just one of the few that really did jump out at me. I've got to think about everybody's taste when I do choose that kind of music. If it was up to me, I'd probably be putting on Rage Against the Machine, Pantera, Suicidal Tendencies, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that's just to name a few of my personal favorites. But if I do that, then I'm not allowed to put ads on the front of my videos, which, yes, I do make a couple of dollars out of that, which does go a lot further over here in Thailand. I am having a bit of time off, and by the time you guys watch this video, actually, I'll probably be working in Bangkok, but I will keep you guys up to date as to where I'm at in my career and how it's all going over here in Thailand. But at the moment, all it means for you is that me having time off gives me time to edit all these videos that I never had the time to edit when I was flat out working on these cars back in Perth. A lot of these jobs that I had just about forgotten about and moved on, I'm actually able to come back and finish these video sets off, and I do really believe that they deserve a full video set. I'm actually enjoying having a bit of a break. It did start taking its toll on me. Started to get a little bit stressful working my ass off every single day, especially owning my own workshop. Some people say that you've got more freedom when you own your own place, but I actually believe that you've actually got more freedom as an employee, because if you're an employee, you can turn around and say to the boss, you know, go and shove your job. I'm leaving here and I'm gonna go and do whatever the hell I want next. Whereas if you're a business owner, there's a good chance you won't be able to go and do anything like that. You've got rents to pay, you've got leases that you're stuck into, you've got all these different bills that you've got to pay, and you're sort of stuck in a way. But look, I shouldn't be complaining. I actually killed it in that first year. I think I saved about $50,000 in that 12 months, and I got to work on some really cool old cars. I did learn a lot and have a lot of fun. I was there at about 6:30, sometimes even earlier, every single morning, and didn't leave till 5. Main reason is because I was happy to be there. There was not much in my life when I was living in Perth. It was just work, to be honest, and that's a big part of the reason I wanted to leave. I really can't see myself moving back to Perth in a hurry, as much as it is a great place, beautiful weather and nice people. Generally, it's nice and quiet. There isn't much left there for me. All I really did have was work. My friends and family are mainly back in Melbourne, and then I've got my girlfriend and my life over here in Thailand. So if I do move back to Australia, it will be Melbourne. I've got an uncle who owns a big BMW dealership back there in Melbourne, and if it ever doesn't work out over here in Thailand, that's exactly where I'll be moving. His HR girl in the office down there has called me up a few times, and she said if it ever doesn't work over there in Thailand, I want us to be the first that you call up, because they really need some good quality painters, and it is absolutely state of the art, the workshop that they've got. So brand new Mercs, Mercedes and BMWs, and in a state-of-the-art facility. So yeah, I mean, in a way I would really like to move over there, but I do love Thailand so much. I like the lifestyle that I'm able to live over here, and living a little bit cheaper. Yeah, the income's lower, but it's more the lifestyle that I care about, to be honest. Anyway, as you saw me doing just before, I was going around wiping the entire thing down with Prepsol, wiped off with 2 separate rags, making sure I was leaving no residue behind. I then got my high pressured air and wiped the entire thing down with a tack rag 3 or 4 times. I didn't include the entire thing because the video would have just got a little bit too long, but I was treating this booth like a hospital. I'll continue on in the next video and we'll start getting some base coat on. What you saw me do at the very end of that video there was put a little bit of 2K primer over a few of those cut throughs. This is a vehicle as it left us. There is still a few little bits to be done. I'll actually have to get onto the customer, and before I do make the last couple of videos, see if I can get some progress shots, even if it's just a few photos of exactly where it's up to. It was a pleasure to do this job for this customer. He wasn't an overly fussy guy. He knew what he wanted. He wasn't afraid to pay for it, and both parties were extremely happy with the end result. I made a couple of bucks and he got a mad looking Torana. Anyway, now you guys have seen this video, get out there and paint some shit, or as we say here in Thailand, lang jak thi kun serk sing gan du video. Pai la pai si, sawatdi krap, goodbye.